My grandfather, with whom I was very close, retired from the practice of medicine at age 59. But even into his 90s, he would go to medical meetings and medical lectures at the local hospital. And I saw how important it was for him to learn. It kept his brain nimble. It kept him excited about medicine. I think it extended his life and extended his health in a deep, profound way. He taught me the power and the meaning and the beauty of lifelong learning. And this has been a Jewish value for so long and deeply embedded in our culture. There's a story told about two of the great professors at the Jewish Theological Seminary in New York, Professor Halivni and Professor Lieberman. They were both intellectual giants, and they both lived in the courtyard around the Jewish Theological Seminary, and they could actually see each other's rooms from their room across the courtyard. And it was said that before he would go to sleep, Professor Lieberman would look across the courtyard at Professor Halivni's room. And if Professor Halivni's light was still on and he was still studying, Professor Lieberman would not go to bed and would stay up and keep studying. There was this competition, but the competition wasn't to win. It was just to continue to learn. And that's a deeply, deeply important Jewish value, and one that I think we are all representing right now by studying and learning together. So why is learning so important? Why is lifelong learning so important? Well, first, it keeps us nimble. Our brains need to keep building connections in order for it to keep functioning. In a way, if you don't use it, you lose it. So learning keeps us nimble, keeps us focused. It builds new connections. And that just simply is part of our process of growing as human beings. If we're not learning, we're not growing. And if we're not growing, we're not fulfilling our potential. And we all need to grow. I mean, how many of us have changed our points of view on certain issues and realized that perhaps we were wrong in the past and we've learned more in the future? We've changed because we've learned. That's part of being human. Second reason learning is important is that it helps us in the pursuit of other values. When we continue to learn, when we read, we travel, we see art, we hear music, we read books, we become more empathetic. We see things from other points of view. That comes from learning. And when we're more empathetic, we can have deeper relationships. We are happier because we just have a more expansive understanding of the world. Learning gives us that gift. That brings us to the third really important why of learning, is that it's deeply fulfilling. There was another professor who said that when I pray, I talk to God. When I study and learn, God talks to me. So when we're studying Torah, when we're studying our ancient books, we're participating in an ancient conversation that has been going on for 2,000 years. And that conversation links us to our ancestors and links us to God. Now, how do we learn? What are some of the best ways that we now, over the summer, in the future, can continue this practice of lifelong learning? The first is that we should take time every day to learn. Learning depends on consistency. If we can consistently find time to read, time to write something, it can be 10 minutes a day, but consistency matters. We can achieve so much with consistency. As a writer, I once recognized that if I wrote 500 words a day, I could literally write probably 3 or 4 books a year. Now, I'm not as consistent as I should be, but consistency is so powerful. The second way we can continue to learn is that we can look for nuggets all around us. There's a Talmudic teaching that says, it asks the question, who is wise? And the Talmud answers, one who learns from all people. So we can find learning everywhere around us. Podcasts, books, conversations. Look for nuggets. Look for ways of learning. Notice, observe. The third important part of learning is that recognize that there are many different forms of learning. Learning isn't just sitting in a classroom and doing a worksheet. Learning is experiential. Learning is doing. Learning is acting. Learning is participating. We have to find ways of engaging all of our senses in learning. I mean, the most ultimate Jewish learning experience is the Passover Seder. We taste food. We hear a story. We smell the food. We touch the ritual items on the Seder plate. real learning is experiential and deep and sensory, so we can take those opportunities every way we can throughout our lives, whatever our age, whether we're 5 or 95. One of the reasons that the Jewish people have survived for so long is that we have embraced learning. Learning was knowledge and faith we could take with us anywhere. There was a famous poet named Heinrich Heine who said that the Torah is the Jews' portable homeland. Wherever we had the Torah, we could get together as a community and study, and that kept us alive. So thank you for the opportunity of studying. Let's all continue this journey of lifelong learning.